Hello, we're team number 1. My name is Ariel Garcia.
My name is Said.
My name is Regina.
My name is Rodrigo.
And I am Sara.
And our topic is about gender violence and also microaggressions. First of all, we want to ask if any of you know anything about microaggressions or gender violence. Well, microaggression, it is a case of violence that is identified from more subtle forms of inequality and different discriminations. With this, there are like different attitudes in our behaviors that reinforce like gender stereotypes and situations where men think that they are superior to women. And then we have also the gender violence, which refers to any physical, psychological, or verbal harms, which can make that someone feel sad of how the situation is going. With this violence can happen like in different situations such as home, schools, work, or even online in social media. These include different like domestic abuse, harassment, sexual assaults, and emotional manipulation.
So, guys, the purpose of the podcast is so that every member of this team can, like give their opinion on this topic, whether it is positive, like they support this, which I don't think is the case, or they are against it.
Well, let's start. I honestly think that both gender violence and also microaggressions comes from the same problem, which is inequality. With this, it is because like physical and also verbal situations are hidden and also cause harm for people who start and have been in this situation. Even if people don't want to accept this, I think that both are connected and feed each other.
Yeah, totally. Because when someone says it just was a joke, it looks like nothing. But in really, those jokes makes people normalize sexting or demeaning comments, and if you hear them over and over, you end up believing it's okay. The dangerous part is that all the small things open the door to something more serious than this problem.
And exactly. And the worst part is that these microaggressions, I think, are really damaging to self-esteem, even if they don't leave like bruises. And it's like they're slowly taking away your confidence, or they making you feel like you don't belong. In the end, these invisible wounds weigh as much as, or maybe more, or similar to like a direct attack.
Oh, a clear example is when the people or the society said to men that they don't cry because it makes them weak. It's so simple, but it's actually telling a man that he cannot show emotion, and that's also violence. It limits him, it puts him in a role that is not his, and the same happens with women in leadership or science.
So I agree with my partner. I mean, it's all the little prejudices that our society has that that influence the actions of the people. I mean, it's your your culture, I mean, your roots that give you a certain certain things that are right to do and some things that are not. So we are like tied to those things, and it's our it's our decision to embrace them or just cut them out and don't follow them.
Yes, like we know that for society, we have been repeating over and over again, like these kind of situations. So like these comments or actions that sometimes we can say or we can think that it's normal. Sometimes because of the culture it is, but it doesn't need to be like that, right? So at the end, this type of comments hurt directly as an aggression to anyone, not just as women. And well, I mean that this can hit physically or when it is verbal, but it can hit emotionally. And well, yes, I think also one of the worst things here is that, as I said earlier, that this repeats a lot, that we don't know how like to question them, and we don't even question anymore that type of actions and behavior.
Okay.
Precisely, because if nobody says anything, people start to see it as something normal. And when something becomes normal, it turns into a culture. That's the most dangerous thing, normalization. Because after that, it's much harder to get those ideas out of the people's head.
Yeah. And of course, like cyber violence doesn't appear out of nowhere. It often starts with small acts like maybe comments or jokes with your friends or like with some people there. And I think if these acts aren't stopped, they're more likely to escalate into much more serious behavior. Yeah.
That's why it's so important to see what are microaggressions, because the things that we think are normal don't really are. That things can affect people's, can affect all kind of people that because our violence are not physical violence, not physical aggression, but just mentally, just psychology, and this can affect the growth of the child, for example.
I mean, it's right what you're saying, but again, it's the little things that you may think it's normal, but maybe you say it to someone else, it might you might hurt them without knowing, and I know you can maybe like push that person to to do things that are bad for themselves because you got them that idea into their heads, like maybe you say, I don't know, something like, is it your place, it's not I don't know, in the workplace, your place is like, I don't know, maybe in the house, and that person, it's going to limit itself, so it has some negative effects on a lot of aspects in someone's life, so we should like think of what we're saying to someone else. You may not know the impact of the things you say to someone.
Yes. For example, that typical phrase, like a lot of people use that it's just a joke. That like I think that type of phrase should disappear because behind of that joke, as you said, it can like harm the person that gives you when you're given that message. So because you're reinforcing that stereotype, like I don't know, the stereotype when a woman cannot like um, grasp something heavy because they cannot, just men. Like the stereotype of a woman cannot carry something heavy, like reinforce, So if we don't question that type of actions or that type of comments, I think like violence starts there, like all the aggression, even if it is not as something as you said, like it is not a physical harm. I think there is like the start of aggression.
Yeah, first it's the mocking, the jokes, then the exclusion. And before you know it, it turns in more serious violence. It's like a chain reaction. And the saddest part is that many people don't realize it until it's already too late.
Yeah, and I think that's why changing culture starts like little by little, starts small, like in the way we speak, in the way how we treat others. And I think it's a daily change. Like you can not change something like in one day. It's like daily, like with a way, in a single way. Well, not in a single way. And it's not something that happens like in a single day. It's like what in every conversation, every interaction we have with others, it's something you need to be practicing and practicing like every day.
Yes, and that little things like jokes, some memes in the internet, that little things that we think that are insignificant, in reality are making a big wall between the man and the woman. They make a fight between them, and this is not correct. This doesn't need to be like this. Because the microaggression really affect all of us. Like when some we see it in the kids, when some male child make jokes about some partners of them that don't, for example, like football or don't play the same as them or don't think the way they do, and they feel bad, they feel apart. This is a real problem.
Yeah. I feel you. And it's not just like a violence or microaggression for women. It affects all genders. It's the same problem that men and women are facing. But the positive thing is that society has been working on these gender violence for a long time, and it's been progressing. But those microaggressions are still there, so we still need to work on it. So it's not like as dangerous and as heavy as it was before. Like feminicides and stuff. The society is working on it, and it's been like progressing in that aspect. But the microaggressions, even if they're a little, I mean, some people don't notice them, they are there. So it is a problem, but it is being treated. So it's a positive thing.
Yes, it is. It has been progressing as all the movements that we have around all the years that we had. Um, I think that, as we said earlier, these actions can hurt anyone. The society has been improving since a lot of movements, and not because just women, but because all people, all society. And I think that um, there has been a change because we know, for example, that when this type of actions or comments happens, I don't know, in 2010 or in other years, there have been like these phrases of, oh no, you are exaggerating this action, like he's not like that, or it is not like you think. It is, the reality is like nothing as you said. So with this, we can say like there's a progression in society in which like there's a lot of improvement of how society has been changing their minds of how they see like the equality.
Yes, and that's why equality is built in everyday life, not just in a big moments or speeches, but in the small actions of daily life. That's where the real change shows up.
Yeah, and well, I'm going to include about the gender roles because some comments about gender roles aren't or are not neutral. They're always like shaping how people behave and what opportunities they feel they can or can't have. It's like an invisible mold.
Yes, and like what my partner already says, that all these movements of the in the actual decades are make so useful for all to see that we, like society, we have some improvements to do, that we aren't correct, that we need have some things to change, that we aren't perfect. We never be perfect, but we can approach to it. We can make a better society for all of us, neither the gender.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It depends on us if we want to make a positive change or a positive outcome out of this situation. It's up to us whether we like to, like do something about it or just let it keep, like affecting us, affecting the people around us. Because it even this is a real serious problem. I mean, some people take it too lightly, but it can affect even the people you like, the people you love, your family, the people around you. So I think we've covered all of that in this podcast. So I
Yes.
hope you like it. Any comments? Like to finish off everything?
No, I think it's okay. I think that we agree that we have the
Same,
same
same.
like we have the same conclusion, and well, that's all. Well, in addition, I think that this topic it's like very controversial topic nowadays because like uh, of the things and how these two topics are related, gender violence and also the microaggressions. But I think society has been improving this topic with different actions and like including all the opinions of women and not only women but all people, all society. So I think like it's good to know and it's like good to investigate it and also to understand why this exists and what we can do like to stop it or to improve it to have like a better society. So I think that with this topic we can learn about all the things that in society we can say that it's normal or maybe it is because of our culture, but sometimes we can change that for better. So I think that it was a good topic. It was a very interesting opinion of all the team. So yes.
For me, at the end, the conversation shows that both gender violence and microaggressions come from the same root, inequality. While one may be obvious and direct, the other is subtly but equally harmful. Normally, jokes or stereotypes only reinforce the discrimination and creates a culture where the violence can grow. So the real change begins in everyday actions, in the words we choose, and in the respect we show to others. Equality is not matters just of laws, but of daily responsibility shaped by everyone.
Yeah. And for me, I understand that gender violence is not like so evident always, because it sometimes like hides in microaggressions or maybe comments that look like simple jokes. But I think that we need to recognize this and we cannot continue to normalize this inequality because like in day by day, people is always making jokes like, yeah, about this type of comments about no, maybe woman to the kitchen and man to the work or that thing. And I think like that comments hurts people. And it's also like it is not just a joke or maybe an attitude that refers stereotypes, gender stereotypes. It can be maybe like, well, it can compare to the physical aggression because it little by little be damaging your self-esteem in between men and women, not only like in women. And people like just don't say nothing about these microaggressions. So I think we need to stop this because if we continue like giving like a start to this, like society will not improve in this way.
So a conclusion that I want to say is that we as society, we need to have the goal of have a fair society. But a fair society is not only about of don't have hits, don't have fights, don't have direct insults. As fair society is also about that don't have the jokes or that affect others, don't have comments that affect others, don't say things that that affect others, because that it doesn't matter that aren't physical aggression, because a mental aggression can also make the same pain that physical do.
Okay, what I concluded from all of this conversation of all this podcast is that this gender violence is all of society, all of individuals that conform society are responsible for this problem or this situation, and it's up to us whether we decide to do something about it, or let it keep like sabotaging ourselves, like keeping it from let it keep causing trouble, for every member of society. That's what I concluded.